Hello, and welcome to this first lecture of a new section on business strategy formulation and modeling in this course, New Business Development. So, the purpose of this section is to help you now get in-depth view of how to formulate and model business strategy for successful new business development. And we have now looked at come two-thirds of the way, and we are going to the fifth step. So, in particularly, we will talk about what is business strategy. We will define what is business strategy in this lecture. So, what do you think? What is business strategy, and how can you formulate and model business strategy for successful new business development? And you have come a long way from looking at a business idea and selecting one, doing in-depth UNA studies, developing concept and testing, and developing prototypes that will deliver and testing how much does it deliver and finding a winning prototype and concept. So let's take a look at what is a business strategy. So what do you think? What is a business strategy? So business strategy is best defined by Michael Porter in his landmark book, The Comparative Strategy, in 1960s actually. And it still holds, it's a classical piece, yeah, which it's like old wine which gets better and better with time. So business strategy is a combination of goals that you're trying to achieve and the means by which you can get them. So two things. What are you trying to achieve over next 3, 5, 10 years? And how do you want to achieve that? And the key elements of business strategy are derived from developing a right answers to the questions for your business. Now, what are these questions? Let's take a look at them. So the first question is, what's your vision of your future? What's the vision of the future of your company? Where do you want to be? What do you want to be seen in 5, 10, 3 years time frame? If you wake up middle of the wake up one day after 5 years, what do you want you to see as your company as? Second thing that you decide is once you have the vision, which includes the goals, then you say, how would you broadly compete in the categories that you have chosen to build the business? And what that broadly is basically talks about being either differentiation, lowest cost, or focus. So, how would you broadly compete? Third question is what are the sales, market share, and profitability goals for next 3 to 5 years or 10 years, whatever time frame that you choose? So you decide, you peg these sales, market share, and profitability. Then you come back to the means. Now these are the goals, and it has also the second question is a broad mean. The first and third were the goals. Then you come down to details of the goal of the means. What products and service line will you have over these 3 to 5 years? What is your line going to look like for product and services? What markets and customers will you target to serve the business? Two words, market and customers. What markets? US, UAE, Singapore, Australia, India. And in there, what customers would you target to build your business? Next question would be how would you generate the demand for your products and services? And this is what I call as marketing strategy, generation of demand. Then you figure out how would you sell and distribute your products and services. When you demand coming through, how would you kind of convert into cash by selling and distributing your product and services? Then how would you purchase to sell and distribute a product? You would need to make, and to make you need to purchase. So how would you purchase the materials and manufacture your products and services, and in a way that is ideally help you achieve your goals? And to do all this, you would need people. So how will you get right people, and how would you get best out of them? Then how will you develop new products and services? You'll become successful. People will copy you, and your product may become B2. So how would you keep developing new products and services to stay ahead? And finally, how would you finance your business? Because you will need money. And whatever plans you have, you will need to exercise management control. So these are the kind of questions that you need to answer. It was best visualized by Michael Porter in his book, as I was saying, Comparative Strategy, as a wheel, in which hub and spokes represent the goals and strategy in a perfect synchronism that you see here. So you see the center that has goals, definition of how the business we're going to compete, objectives on sales growth, market share, and profitability, and then you have these needs from product line, target market, marketing, sales, distribution, purchasing, people, research and development, and finance and control strategy. So that is what I would call a good definition of a business strategy. So what will a business strategy look like? Fine. Michael Porter visualized this as a wheel. So will it look like a wheel? And how do I make it look like? How do I present it? So I have a simple representation for you. So this you have the dimensions that Michael Porter's have listed in the wheel and the question. So there what you need to do is ask populate this table in which you say what are we doing today? What are we doing today in each of these areas that you saw we talked about? What else could we do? And what should we be doing over next 3 to 5 years and why? And you answer in as much detail as you want and can. And then you have your one pager of a business strategy ready to look at, to share with other people. So this is how I would say a business strategy would look like. You could do a PowerPoint in multiple slides, but this is the summary of everything. Now, what do these dimensions really mean? These dimensions meaning all of these vision and overall strategy. Now, vision is a a wish backed up by some plans of how you where you want to be, what you want to be seen. And overall strategy is choosing an overall competitive path of between differentiation cost. So that's what you need to choose. Now, the sales, market share, profitability goals are what you define very clearly. Product line is a more a strategic dimension. In fact, where you say, okay, here I am today, I'm into these products in consultancy. Now, where else could I be? I could be in financial advisory, I could be in teaching and coaching, and where should I be? And I find answering, okay, in addition to consulting, maybe I should be more online teaching and coaching. And why? Because online teaching and coaching is picking up faster than consulting. Target market. So who would you target? Who are you targeting today? What else can you do? Where would you? So here again, you target market and target customers. Then you have the functional strategies of marketing, sales, distribution, etc. Let's take a look at. There are many questions to be answered there. Let's take a look at in more detail each of these functional strategies. So first functional strategy is the marketing strategy. Now, strategy in my definition is asking some key questions that can help you achieve your goals, right? So your goals you have set as a vision, as those sales, market share, profitability goals, and an overall strategy. So the question that what questions would you need to ask for marketing for generating that demand? So first question that you need to ask is how will you generate the demand for your products and services? And it's kind of a summary question, a opener, right? And that's what we saw earlier. So how do you generate the demand? Then you get into details like what are the key marketing tasks? Where are you? Do you need to increase awareness? You need to increase trials? You need to build repeat business? So what are the key marketing tasks? And it's a fundamental question. Then you say, okay, whatever the task is, and the key thing in marketing is to communicate. Communicate your unique selling proposition. So, how will you communicate? What will you communicate? What will that unique selling proposition be? And how will you communicate to your target audience so that they buy your product, awareness goes up, trial goes up, and repeat business happens as you define in your key marketing task? What media would you use to communicate? Would you use internet? Internet, would you use? Would you go to Instagram? Would you go to the LinkedIn? Would you go to YouTube? Where would you go? Or would you use TV and press? How much? Where? Who? Which channel? Where? Which country would you like to communicate? Which region would you like to communicate? And how much? What part of the year? So these are the questions that will define your marketing strategy. Then you come to sales and distribution strategy. And again, you answer many questions, starting with the overall question of how will you sell and distribute your products and services? And that's an overall question. Then you ask the detailed questions where you say, how will you convert an inquiry into sales order? Once you, if it is a business that has an inquiry that goes into sales order, how would you do that? Then how will you maintain and grow your current customer base? Once you have a customer base, how would you maintain that? How would you not let lose them? And how would you grow your current customer base? Then you ask questions, what price will you invoice at? Premium, parity, discount, how much? So those are the pricing questions. How will you collect your money? Sales is good, orders converted into sales, but you need to collect your money because without the money, your business cannot run and the sales is incomplete. So how will you collect your money? How will you deliver your products and service to customers? The distribution part. Would you deliver online? Would you deliver in person? Would you deliver through shipments? Whatever way. So you decide your distribution strategy. Then you look at purchase and manufacturing strategy. And the opening question there is again, how will you purchase materials and manufacture your products and services overall? There are more questions. What will you manufacture yourself? Would you manufacture everything yourself? Where and how? What are the locations? What technology would you use to manufacture yourself? What you would not manufacture yourself? What will you outsource? What cost, quality, and time levels would you aim to achieve for the products that you will make or outsource? What kind of cost, target cost, what quality levels, and what process time would you aim to achieve? How much will you make at a particular point of time? Will you have a policy? Make to order or inventory? How much inventory? Inventory policy. What will you purchase? When? How much? From where? So where would what kind of purchasing would happen? And what CQT levels would you have to achieve to deliver the quality and cost and timing that you need for your finished product to for your so CQT levels in materials and packaging that you need to aim. So that's those will be some questions of purchase and manufacturing strategy. And human resources strategy, as we were saying earlier. And the key question there again is to ask, how will you get the right people? Who? How many? Where? When? So all these are the questions that you need to answer as a part of the human resource strategy. Then how will you get best out of them? You get those right people. How will you motivate them? How will you develop them? How will you support them? Then how will you retain them? They are motivated, developed, performing. Then the biggest threat you have is they would leave probably. So how would you retain them? And what will be the right organization structure? How will you ensure that you continue to have a right organization structure? So these are some of the human resources questions that will form part of your HR strategy. R&D strategy, as we were saying, once you have developed a product successfully, your business is successful, your success starts becoming your enemy. Competitors copy your product. So how would you kind of develop new products and services? How would you keep ahead of competition? What will you develop? When, etc. And also on existing products, how will you continue to improve the cost, quality, and timing or time taken to manufacture those existing products so that you continue to be competitive on the existing products as well? Can't forget existing products. And last question, if strategy would be finance and control. And two simple questions. One, how will you finance your business? Would you do yourself, bootstrap, borrow, beg, steal? How much and when? And finally, how will you exercise management control? You would have plans, strategies, right? So, how would you make sure that your team and you are going in that direction? What will you exercise control? When would you exercise? And how much of control? Would you be kind of breathing down the neck of your people all the time, or would you be laissez faire, or you would be in between? So these are the questions that you need to answer in finance and control strategy. So what is next? So having looked at what is business strategy, we will now look at what is the business strategy. We gave you an idea of a overall concept of business strategy. Now, is there something called the business strategy that can help you build successful new business? Sure, there is. And what is this thing, the business strategy that can help you build successful new businesses? What we will talk about in the next lecture. So thank you so much for watching this first lecture on business strategy formulation and modeling. I hope you're continuing to learn new things, continuing to enjoy, and I do look forward to see you again in the next lecture. Please feel free to message me if you have any questions. I'll be happy to answer your questions, and do download the PDF file to take a look at anything, specifically those Michael Porter's wheels and questions.